You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. I could have been a chemist. I could have been a physicist.
Yep.
But instead,
you could have been a neurosurgeon. But no.
Yeah, I could have been a friggin' scientist. But like today, like in the Games Radar editorial room, like what did I bring to the table? Oh yeah, 6 years ago, Ute Saito, creator of Seaman, had one of his first iOS games rejected because Apple deemed it unpleasant. That's the kind of thing.
That's what, yeah.
But that's why we do this show. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to How It's Done, Games Radar's weekly developer talk show. Today, Susan, we are playing a little independent game. I know that you like your console games, you like your big AAA releases, you like your weird Japanese games. We're going low key for this. This is a Kickstarter backed. This isn't even funny. This isn't accurate. I can't maintain this. We're playing Destiny: The Taken King, which is like probably the biggest. Would you say it's the biggest thing on the planet right now? Like,
at this
relatively speaking?
Well, it's pretty gosh darn big. It's Metal Gear is still,
Metal Gear is huge, yes.
But, yeah, people are all about that Destiny Taken King hotness.
That voice you hear, of course, is Games Radar managing editor Susan Arndt. Hello, Susan.
Hello, Anthony.
And my name is Anthony John Agnello, senior social editor here at Games Radar. And today we are not just playing Destiny Taken King like so many human beings in the world. We are also going to be hanging out with none other than Bungie's Luke Smith, the creative director on Taken King, and an old friend of yours, Susan.
An old friend of mine, an old boss of mine, actually, from back when he was news director at 1UP. He hired me to be the first round of community news writers.
Oh, man. Old 1UP.com, which I still, like, I pour out a cup for 1UP on a regular basis. So
it was so good, man.
It was so good. 1UP.com was so good. It was literally the first professional feature assignment that I ever had as a freelancer.
Really?
Was with them.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
What was it about? What was it about?
It was, so my, if anybody is watching, I got my start running a video game blog for a sex magazine. And the name of the blog was 61 frames per second. Susan was one of the 10 people that read it.
True.
One of the 9 people that actually read it. But one of those other 9 was Jeremy Parrish of 1UP.
Yeah.
And currently of US Gamer. Mm-hmm. And I was contacted by him the week we got shut down. And he said, hey, I want somebody to do a July 4th feature for us. Can you come up with a pitch for July 4th? And this was back in 2009. I'm giving you the Anthony version of the story, Susan.
Of course you are,
I'm giving you the Anthony version with all the details. Because details are the spice of life. So I was like, what's good for July 4th? And this'll show to you, like, my idea for pitching a feature has not changed at all, which is it might be a bad thing. But this was in June of 2009, so we had Prototype, we had Red Faction Guerrilla, and we had Infamous all coming out within 3 weeks of each other.
Okay.
And so it was... bam, like the true post GTA 4 next generation of open world games was hitting PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. So it was all about the evolution of freedom for players.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, and it came out okay. My very first feature for 1UP back then, but like I was so excited to write that because I loved 1UP. Last decade people like Luke Smith, who's going to be on with us in just a little while, and Jeremy and yourself and that whole crew there, man, like, everything that was going on that site, like, I remain inspired by that editorial style, what was going on there.
One Up will always have a very, very dear place in my heart because it's where I started writing about video games earnestly. It's where I started writing about them daily. I am kind of glad you can't actually see any of my writing on there anymore because it was so bad.
Is it all gone? Is it none of it there anymore? Because I know that the servers went back up.
Most of it's gone.
Most of it's gone.
Most of my blogs are gone.
Yeah.
But that is where I got noticed, and that is it was those blogs that allowed me to get my very first paid job as a game journalist, which was doing E3 show coverage for the show daily. It was that got me the opportunity to work with Luke doing news, and that in turn allowed me to go work at Wired. So, I owe them a lot, and those people will always be heroes to me. They will always be the folks that I look up to, and it's just really weird now because a lot of them are my friends.
Right, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly.
It's just very strange.
Well, today will be the first time that I have ever crossed paths with Luke. I'm really looking forward to talking to him about it because I have a lot of questions for him about how you take something like Destiny, and which is so monolithic, in the game. Like, in the wider gaming brain these days, not just the market, Like, it's a thing that is the game that people play now. And I know that it is an MMO, but at the same time, I don't think about it as in the same way that I think about something like World of Warcraft 10 years ago. And it seems interesting to me what is happening with the Taken King, how they've changed directions with it. Like, everything I hear about the Taken King is that it's very narrative heavy, it's very story focused.
Yes.
It's very much about rethinking from the ground up how you progress in the game as a character. And I'm interested to talk to somebody who not only has been working in games for most of the past decade, but also comes from a critical background. About how that perspective fueled this change. I think it'll be really interesting.
I agree, and one of the things I'm looking forward to talking about is that tension of when you are introducing a new game. And Destiny was it's a mashup of all sorts of different game styles. It certainly has MMO aspects, but it's not a straight MMO. It has shooter aspects, but it's not a straight shooter. And it's not a straight shooter. But
sorry.
So Bungie was trying something very new, and you have to respect them saying, okay, this is the traditional way to do level advancement. This is the typical way to do experience. Let's try something else, right? And I appreciate that a lot. Like, I appreciate them trying to take a risk and trying to carve out new territory, because most games tend to do experience and progression largely the same way. They're all variations on the same theme.
Totally. So and it's either about time, it's about, you're grinding something, whether it's time or it's money, real world and not. Right. You're grinding something.
Exactly. And or even just progress through the story, like something like an Uncharted, you get access to more stuff.
Right.
As you go through the story. So I really, really respect them for wanting to say, okay, but what if we did it this way? But at the same time, did no one go, well...
Why didn't we do it in the first place?
Well, I mean, because from 1 to 20, they do it the traditional way. You do things, you get experience, you level up. Great. Did none of the playtesters have the reaction that most real-world players did, which is, I'm not enjoying the level progression anymore. I'm enjoying the game, but I don't feel like I'm making progress because of this bizarre level progression.
Do you think that, I honestly think it's very probable that they didn't. Because, when I think about a playtester, you have, especially people in public beta tests, that's useful. But the people who sit behind closed doors in QA for a developer, no matter what, inevitably, your perspective becomes skewed. Like,
true. Yeah.
you're playing the game in a different way than anybody else ever will. And I think, that's how you get things like the level progression in Destiny on day one last year. Or, I'm trying to think, like, it's how you get something like, God, what's like, it's how you get something like only having motion controls in Lair. Like, no, that's unfair. That's unfair.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that Lair was a
corporate mandate.
Exactly. Yeah, you are going to make us a game with motion controls, bitches. Like, I do not think there was a single dev working on Lair who was like, yes,
right. This
is the way. This is how it should be. You know what I mean? Like, there were certain games. Well, it's like Dance Central, they got screwed. It's very much the same kind of thing. Although Dance Central completely benefits from being a Kinect game.
Wow. By the way, Smelly Tunic here in the chat says, I have not touched Destiny since I finished the main story right after launch. I looked at my level and the speed at which the 384 types of currency were given out, and I just said nope. I don't have the time for this. And Susan, you and I fired up Destiny on day one and played together.
Yep. Yes, we did.
Right when it came out. You and I were in here, we played the beta together.
Yep.
And when the real game came out, we were like, nope, no.
I finished the story and I played to the level cap.
Oh, I didn't know that you played to the level cap.
Yeah.
I thought you walked away.
No, I loved it. I played to level 20, and then all the silliness began. And with the motes of light and the thing, and you gotta team up with people for the raids and and that's when I was like, and I'm done.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Well, not so much with the modes of light, but the whole having to play with other people thing.
Yeah.
Like you have, that was if I remember correctly, that was the only way you could get the stuff you needed.
It was
to level up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so now I have to arrange play dates in order to make any progress in the game.
Yeah. And
done.
I'm out. And and it's very interesting. This is the first time that I have played Destiny since September of 2014. Right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I installed it. I made sure it ran. And this is the first time I'm firing it up since. And,
wow.
And that is it. And already, it is dramatic how different this feels.
Really?
Yes, it is.
That's why I was stoked about doing this.
This is why I want to do this with you, and this is also why I intentionally didn't touch it. I have not seen any of the big changes. I have not seen anything. The fact that I've already leveled up.
Really?
I already hit a level. I boosted up. This is the second character that I fired up last year. I did not like the first character who made it up to like level 8. Okay. And I just didn't like what was happening, so I decided to re-roll, and I guess I stopped at level 3, and I already hit 4.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
So are you going through, like, is the original story still there with the Cosmodrome? And you have to...
As far as we know, literally what I did was I turned on the game, made sure my character was okay, made sure it ran all right, and just picked a mission. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, like we're seeing live what happens to a character that was abandoned at Destiny Year 1 launch and firing it back up with all the updates.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, because, I mean, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, and this, like, again, I am already noticing, like, just fighting scrub enemies feels different. They go down quicker. Like, this is... it feels more like what I wanted it to be in the start. Which is something that it felt more shootery than, say, like, Borderlands. I am dead. Wow, I am dead. Punk Rock Bob is telling us, our old friend Punk Rock Bob. Hi, Punk Rock Bob.
I do love Punk Rock Bob. Punk Rock Bob will always be very, very special to me.
A personal fave. A personal
Yes.
fave.
Yes.
And Punk Rock Bob says, original story is all the same. The level order was shuffled a bit, though.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That is definitely interesting. I'm going to be very interested to see how well I can do in here.
So, are you what are you now? A Titan? Are you a Warlock?
I am a Titan.
Okay.
And I realized that I just did not have the patience when I got up to like level 8. I was a Warlock, and I just like I kept I wanted to play it like it was a shooter. Like I just wanted to play it like it was Halo, and I that you can't.
No, you'll die a lot.
You'll die constantly.
Yes.
So I switched to Titan so that I could do a little bit more of that, and even then though, like the grindiness of taking out like, you know, whatever the second level up enemy type. There's like the basic enemies, and then there are the guys who aren't wizards, but they're wearing white hats. Yes. They're running around. They look like Strife from 80s X-Men comics. That's... There's your deep cut of the day, everybody.
The thing I loved about playing Destiny, and others, I know others did this too. So the text that pops up when you see an enemy, pretty small.
Yeah.
So they're called dregs, I believe.
Yes.
But it looks like Doug.
Hey, Doug!
So,
got a bad case of the Dougs.
And then there's Shanks, but I call them Sharks.
Oh, yeah, well, once you're a Doug all the way.
Oh, absolutely. Totally.
And those Dougs and Sharks hate each other. I know about 60s musicals. I know things. That was the... Do people know what I'm talking about, Susan?
They have to, right? West Side Story?
Yeah, that's the
Everybody knows West Side Story, right?
Yeah, that's not a deep cut.
No, that's not. That's a classic cultural thing.
That's a shallow cut.
Yeah. No, that's a if you don't know that, that's on you thing.
Yeah, but come on, bros.
You should go watch that because it's amazing.
Susan, so West Side Story, you're gonna see where I'm coming from when I ask you this question, and I think you might not be able to talk about it in depth.
Oh, okay.
But I was just immediately going to say, why don't I have a Bungie game where dance battling is an option? And then I was like, are there games where dance battling is an option? And then and then I realized you might be
I
playing.
can say things.
Oh, you can say things.
I can. I cannot fully, for example, give a score.
I see.
But, no, I can say, Persona Dancing All Night.
Yeah!
You literally dance to fight shadows.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas, you know, what we're used to in the Persona games is you call forth in a persona and you do great big spells, or you hit them with a sword, or you shoot them. No. Now you are shaking your moneymaker. And they, to their credit, they come up with a narrative reason that makes sense.
Wow. They're really good at that. They're really good. Like, even Persona Arena and Arena Ultimax have, like, very decent, like, logic for why the fights are happening in the way they are. So I'm glad that Dancing All Night does that as well.
They meet you halfway on the giving you a legit reason for you to be dancing to fight. and they give you a perfectly plausible reason for you to know how to dance at all.
Oh, awesome. All right.
Yeah. And it's a phenomenal game. Really, really good. I will say, I'm not sure how much non-Persona 4 fans will enjoy the story.
Are there Persona 3 characters? Is this...
I don't think I'm allowed to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I am.
Everybody, Raidu from Devil Hunter confirmed right there. Number 1 with a bullet.
Jack Frost is just there, shaking his tiny little butt.
Jack Jack Frost just does really inappropriate grinding motions.
I know. It's just like, dude, really? Your mom is watching. What is
What is wrong with you, Jack Frost?
Stop.
So we have 10 minutes before Taken King creative director Luke Smith is going to join us, and that is enough time for Susan and I to geek right the hell out about Persona 5.
Yes!
Jumping from that little Tokyo Game Show news. So Tokyo Game Show is like a thing again this year. Games were announced. Games were announced.
Yes, that's true, they were.
Like real games.
Yeah.
Not like only coming to iOS in Hong Kong. Like actual video games. And Persona 5, Atlas finally came clean and was like, nah, we were just playing about that 25-15 thing.
Anybody who thought that game was coming out this year was smoking crack.
Yeah.
I understand the desire to smoke crack, and by sheer force of will, have this game come into being this year.
Right.
But,
No.
But to answer, Yaddle has one last question about Dancing All Night. What is the control method? You are, on the Vita, you are hitting the face buttons and the D-pad, up, down, and center. And then you will also, on occasion, use either stick. But it doesn't matter which one you use and which direction you point it in.
That sounds pretty. That sounds like pretty easy. Like,
it is.
It's pretty intuitive.
It is very intuitive, but oh man, that game is very challenging.
Yeah,
super challenging.
If you suck at rhythm games,
you're gonna suck at this. Then.
You're gonna suck at it. All right.
Well, here's something. I'm probably breaking embargo, but whatever. One of the things that I really, 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 really appreciate about the game is you can play just the rhythm game from the get-go.
Oh, that's great. All right.
Like, there's some stuff that's locked off by the story, but you can play, like, I don't even remember how many songs it is from the start. But yeah, you just gotta play them.
That's awesome.
They're unlocked already, so you can just enjoy that, and you can take it down to whatever difficulty level you like. So you can start off in easy and then work your way up if you're not very good. Or even if you are good, because the game gets... Dude, it gets tough. It's real.
Yeah,
but it never feels cheap.
Yeah, it's funny. That is a very good description of Persona Arena as well. Mm-hmm. Like, it's very, very demanding. It's very, very hard. But luckily, if you just want to hop in and, like, fight, you can do that. And skip some of the story stuff if it's proving too challenging. They seem to have a good sense of that.
They understand their brand really, really well, and they're very protective of it, but not in a way that means they're slavish to sticking to one thing. Obviously they made a dancing game, they made a fighting game. Right. And Yaddle, I totally agree. Like Elite Beat Agents trying to do it with touch,
no.
unless you have like exactly the right conditions, is not great.
Unsavory.
But yeah, Persona 5, oh my god, looks
so good.
So good. I'm in love with the cat, obviously.
Naturally. The cat with the awesome persona.
Yeah, the persona with the big ape. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So awesome.
All about it. All about it. It might be a rapier. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I think it might be a rapier.
Okay.
All right, upgrades.
I did get to say ape today, so you know. Who's really winning? Me.
Look at my awesome. You're gonna see her in a second. My awesome ranger, who has makeup like she's in a Billy Idol video, but hair like she's in Hairspray. It is super badass.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. That is. You know what that is? That is Texas.
Yeah.
That is a Texas hairstyle.
That is what a.
That is. Yeah. It is a true thing that they sell more Aquanet in Texas than anywhere else in the United States. The higher the hair, the closer to God.
Ooh, yeah, let's switch that. Do a little armor customization. I did miss doing this. So I have been playing a lot of Metal Gear as well.
Yes, you have. Yes.
A lot of Metal Gear, and I just finished Metal Gear Solid 5 yesterday.
Okay.
I am now walking away from that game, which is a larger conversation that I think we'll have in the podcast and the stream in the near future when we can talk about sort of end game things. But the reason Metal Gear popped in my head is that the listening to the 80s music in it.
Man, they picked some good cuts.
Just great stuff. And, like, you know what I'd forgotten? Like, I actually forgot that Billy Idol kicks ass. Like,
he was really good.
So awesome. Like, Rebel Yell is a freaking awesome song. It is awesome song.
Yeah, I know.
And like, that guy was sexy as shit. Like,
oh my god, he was hot.
I just don't know.
Dude, White Wedding? Oh my god.
It was awesome. I don't know how I forgot all these things.
Well, it's because he has since become very much a caricature of himself.
It's true. Like,
and those songs get, like, whenever there's a, hey, it's 80s night or whatever, they tend to trot out the same songs over and over again.
Exactly.
And they hit the Billy Idol oeuvre, and they hit it hard. And so that's why you kind of tend to put him and some other songs out of your mind. But the songs hidden on the cassettes in Metal Gear, there are some beautiful choices in there.
Such a good, like, I think I had mentioned it to you that Hall & Oates Maneater is in there.
Oh, yeah.
And like you just forget how, like, you think in your head that the smooth sax line is just a joke this many years later. Like, 30 years on, the smooth sax is not to be taken seriously. You can't take smooth sax seriously. And yet, when I heard Maneater playing, and I was sneaking up a mountainside village to try and gain intel on the path of a secret tank convoy, I was like, holy shit, this song is awesome! Have I found...
Did you find Reap the Wild Wind by Ultravox?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
I think I hit almost all of the pop tapes.
Okay.
I think I got all the pop tapes. I think I am missing a couple of the, like, there are also tapes with, like, actual Metal Gear songs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty easy to miss. Like, is the thing. They're a little hidden. Like, when I found you could find the main theme from Peace Walker. Mm-hmm. And it was, like, in a basement, in the middle of a story mission that you weren't even supposed to be in, and it was just, like, luck that I found it.
Yeah. Fortunately, if you would like to find all of the pop cassettes, our handy guide on GamesRadar.com will show you exactly how to do that.
That is a thing that you can do. We are just 2 minutes away from bringing in ye old Luke Smith. Very excited to talk to Luke Smith. Right
Me
now.
too. Absolutely. I've been looking forward to this one for a while.
Very interested to talk to him about this. I am also, like, hold on one second. Let me look down here. Let me look down at my portal to the internet. And I want to see how many people are playing Destiny on Twitch right now. There are 30,000 people watching Destiny right now. I am curious how many of them are watching somebody play the very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
The very, very beginning of the game. Because, like, this stuff is still, like, we talk about this a lot when laying out an editorial slate for things on Games Radar, for the streams. You have to always remember that there is somebody out there who it's going to be their first time.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Also true is that her face paint is very much more Adam Ant.
It is more Adam Ant.
Yeah.
Nicely put, Hoplan.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is she doesn't drink and she doesn't smoke.
No. You're going to goody two shoes. No, that is not.
It's unacceptable?
No, Hoplan's got it. He went to Prince Charming.
He went to God.
Oh yeah. Wow. That is the good Adam Ant.
Damn it.
Honestly, I mean, I love Adam Ant, love him to death. But once he took the makeup off, he lost, like,
Oh
a
yeah,
good 40% of his sex appeal.
yeah. That's just accurate. That's just accurate. You know what is he looking like these days? I haven't
He looks
seen him in a
good.
while, but
He looks good.
I heard that like he went through like sort of a sickly period and then he got like hot again.
Well, he was mentally ill. Actually, he
Oh,
has some. Yeah, he was institutionalized for a while for his mental health issues, and has been successful at treating those, and is doing very, very well. He looks great, and he still sounds pretty fantastic.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hello, Luke. Are you with us?
I hope so.
Dude, there you are. There you are. You're right in time for the part of the conversation where we talk about the mental state of Adam Ant. You came prepared for this conversation, right?
Yeah, totally. Is that guy? Does he play music?
Yeah, he plays.
Sweet.
He's
I'm
known
I'm
for,
already doing a good job.
Dude, you're on the ball.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, the perfect moment for a little station ident. You are watching How It's Done, Games Radar's weekly developer talk show. Joining us on the line at this exact moment is Destiny Taken King creative director Luke Smith of Bungie. Hello, Luke.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Dude, I am thrilled that you have been able to join us today. I am very, very excited about this. I am playing Destiny for the first time in a year. I was a big quitter last year.
You're not alone, man. There were a lot of big quitters. That's not a lot of people last year got to sort of that like level 18, level 20 area, and the game changes pretty significantly. The vanilla game changed pretty significantly at level 20, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand any of this. I'm out.
Right.
And then up.
That's pretty much how that went down. That's true.
So
And that's like that. That's like one of those that that was an awesome lesson for us at Bungie. Like we really want people to keep playing this game, and we want people to log in and look at their friends list and see like, oh man, like Susan's playing Destiny. Like I haven't played that in a while. I'll go play with them. Like that, like social fabric and connectivity and relationships between people. I mean, those are things that are really important to us, and really important to the type of game we're trying to build with Destiny.
So tell me this, man. Tell me like how the process of you coming in and saying this is what we're going to do with Taken King, how does that start? Does it begin with, in September of 2014, looking at the way that people are actually playing the game and jumping ship at, once they get to the level cap and saying, all right, well, here's what we're going to do. We start planning year 2 now. Or has it had to be like a more fluid process than that?
Well, it's actually an even older process. Like development for the Taken King release began a long time ago, while we were still developing Destiny, and my involvement with Taken King really took off, while we were still in the throes of finishing Destiny, and so I joined that project to lead it, basically coming off of finishing the Vault of Glass internally, and so. For us, we had all these ideas, of what we thought the Taken King would be, and a bunch of those ideas stuck, and a bunch of them, like more than you even understand, changed basically alongside the live game, and changed as we were watching the releases. I mean, we had the 2 DLCs. Excuse me, I'm gonna cough. We had the 2 DLCs. Last year, the Dark Below and the House of Wolves, and we were watching and talking with those teams. I mean, we're a big studio now, and we have to have better communication between the different projects and different scope of those projects, so that you don't want any project to feel like it wasn't paying attention or reacting to the other ones. I mean, that's like a huge sin in a game that we like want to feel like a live, living game.
Luke,
and so,
was that cough like was that like a rapper's cough? Were you clearing your throat like? We put out 2 packs of DLC. Like,
no,
that's not a boast.
No, it was just like it's like, so truth be told, man, I've been out of the office this week, I've been resting. I've been pretty exhausted since finishing that project. But what I've been doing with my time to recover is just playing the shit out of the game. so it's like honestly, like this voice has gotten a lot of work just like yelling at my buddies in party chat, and we're all trying to gear up for the raid. And I played probably we had the. You didn't ask. I'll just tell you anyway. We had like a launch party for the development team on Monday night, and that went from 8 to 11. And that was awesome to get the whole Bungie team together and talk and just like be around each other, and and a bunch of folks had a few drinks, but because I had this big plan that I'm going to get to in just a second, I just drank water all night. But then I came home, and at 2 o'clock when the game went live, I played straight from 2 o'clock in the morning on launch day until I think 10 the next night.
Oh my god!
And then I mean, when I say stuff like I love Destiny, I hate that it's not better. I'm not fucking kidding, man. I wanted to be right there beside every player who was picking up the game and be going through the same thing that they were. It's really important.
This is something I will vouch for you. This man loves Halo like you would not believe. So when he says he loves this game, he is not doing like PR stuff and like, no, I love my game and I play it all the time. No. He is legit.
Yeah, it's like a pretty it's probably if I did like a graph of my life for the last I'll probably say like 2 years now, and it was like time spent at work, time playing Destiny, time sleeping, time playing Destiny in development, and you like did all that and like calculated it against the 24-hour period and looked at what was left over. I think it would probably be really depressing, like to think about life that way. But it's also been like it's just this like it is a hobby of mine. It's like become this hobby. Like Destiny is this awesome hobby that I have, and that was what we sort of set out to do. And it's an opportunity that we and Bungie have with Destiny is to just keep trying to make it better. So this is our latest
to me, man. Like the fact that the other day I was reading through this book, The Art of Grasshopper Manufacture, which is interesting for an art book because rather than like being like here's a picture of blah blah blah, it's actually like a development diary by Suda51, and so he like sits there and describes what it was like building all of these different games in a very like confessional tone. And in the middle of it, he talks about how they made Fatal Frame 4. And he's like, the guys who created Fatal Frame asked me to do this, and I said, I don't want to make this sequel because I'm a fan. I just want to play your game. And then he's like, I think we made something good. I'm really glad I got to contribute to the series. But I wish I could erase all of that testing and playing from my memory because I can't just play this game as a fan anymore. And how do you make sure that you can even do that? How do you make sure that you don't get burnt out?
Like I have no idea. I mean, I think that my answer is going to be really unsatisfying, except for like the 5 people that I play with. I mean, I actually do play. I play basically with the same group of people, and it's this group of fellas I've been playing games with for, geez, man, like one of them I've known since he was like 6 years old, and we're in our 30s, so I've known these guys for a really long time, and they're just like my like close friends, and we migrate from game to game together. A bunch of us played Halo together. A bunch of us met each other, through Halo or World of Warcraft. And so no matter what I'm experiencing in the development environment or internally or whatever with my coworkers, like it's like I get to see the whole experience through their eyes, and they're not. I mean, they're like a bunch of cynical, twisted, jaded gamers too, and so they're gonna, they're gonna tell it like it is, and you sort of. You have to live with the shame of them saying like, this thing's terrible, and knowing it's like completely your fault that it's terrible. But it's I think for me it's like who I'm playing with is what sort of keeps me energized, because it's like I get to hear new perspectives all the time from my friends, and also at Bungie in general. Like with a game like Destiny, we're paying attention to everyone's feedback. It's not just like Luke and his merry band of his 6 friends. It's we have these giant communities, and y'all in the media like cover the shit out of the game, and the message boards on Reddit, NeoGAF. A bunch of us read those sites and are reading and seeing what people think. So we have this like responsibility to pay attention and to learn and react as quickly as we can. I mean, I think one of the things we learned last year, despite we updated the game like 40 some times, it's just not always fast enough, and we just gotta be faster.
So no joke, man. Susan and I were just talking about this before you popped on. This is the first... I didn't even test the game outside of just making sure it installed properly and everything was good to go. I just wanted to make sure everything could run on the stream. This is the first time I have played the game since September of last year, like shortly after launch. This is the level 3 character that I built up then and am firing up now. It is insane how immediately noticeable it is how different the game feels compared to then. Like, just at a tactile level, like, going in and playing these early missions feels different. It feels dramatically different. And I'm curious how you guys have gone through this process, because you want... With Taken King, you obviously want to not only give people that are, like yourself and, playing constantly something new and something engaging, but you want to win people back like Susan, who hit that level cap and were like, I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that everybody is satisfied?
Well, I think that the goal is to try to make sure everybody's satisfied. I definitely don't want to say that we hit it. I think that we're going to find, more opportunities to improve. But when we talk about the global development of the game, I had a moment, in a meeting where we were talking about the questification, and I have these two, I have 2 nieces and a nephew, and my nieces are both like toddlers, like 4 and a year and a half or so. And I was sitting there thinking about. I'm going to get to the point of the story in just a second, I promise.
Dude, take your time. You're in good company.
I was sitting in this meeting, and we were talking about the quest log for Taken King, which was an initiative that was really important to us. And if you watch if you sort of track the development of the game, okay, this is going to go on for a long time now. If you track the development of the game, we had these things last fall called exotic bounty chains, and that was for weapons like Thorn and Infective. And what they were a series of objectives that sometimes had like a special little moment, like go do a strike and a special monster spawns at the end of it or whatever. But they were these cool chains of activities that led to exotics, and they ostensibly were, the first quests that Bungie's built. That's sort of the beginning of quests. In DLC 1, we introduced this new character, Eris, and the DLC 1 team did a great job of like taking the bounty chain concept, extending it further, and giving giving that DLC a voice. Eris Morn, and we had this we had this like we started to have this base, and then in DLC 2. We knew that team was excited about Varix and Petra, and they had created new characters. And so in the middle of all of that is like a meeting where we're talking about the quest log, because we wanted to get the activity of questing out of the bounty chain and get it into something more presentational and more understandable. And I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about my 2 little nieces, who I hope at some point, when they get a little bit older, like a couple years older, are excited and tempted to play something like Destiny. I don't know if we'll ever have a Frozen character in it, but I think it would take something like that right now to get Hadley into the game.
I advocate that. By
yeah,
the way.
dude, I would be into that.
Yeah,
I would be into it. I'm not gonna lie.
A Let It Go partnership would be. Maybe if we need new game credits, we could talk to those guys about Let It Go. We've had popular music in the credits before.
Maybe it's an ability for the Warlock. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Luke,
okay.
If you go back to the well and get Paul McCartney to sing "Let It Go," that's it.
Wow.
Like you guys will sell. And you will be the first game to sell 1 billion copies.
That's our missing link. Okay. Well, to the marketing and PR people listening, there's a suggestion.
Not a good one, but it's
exactly. I didn't use any adjectives. I just said it's a suggestion.
It is a suggestion. But back to your news.
Yeah. So back to that series of threads that I've spooled up involving game design, building into quests, and 2 little nieces. So now to stitch it all together, we are talking about the quest log and talking about how to do it. and how we would make it work, and what the transition would be like for a player playing, D14 or vanilla or whatever you want to call last year's Destiny game. What it would be like for that player to suddenly begin the Taken King and have all this quest stuff turned on. And I just was thinking about these two nieces and being like, oh my gosh, like those kids would never understand it. And one of the things that we want at the franchise level for Destiny is for it to be a game that's, understandable by as many players as possible, despite our ability to make things too complicated at times. Like, our goal is to make the game approachable and understandable for people. And so the answer coming out of that like mental exercise was, well, we have to questify the whole game, and we have to redo. We have to go back to the rock basically and questify everything. And so then we met with the story team and the investment lead, a guy named Tyson Green, who's been at Bungie forever, and we worked on a path through the vanilla content and rewove, like stitched in Eris off of the Moon quest line. So DLC 1 like weaves into those initial planets and sort of took all of this content that had been like spread out over the course of the year and like rewove it all back together. So like after you meet the Queen and the Crow in a cinematic, then you sort of like begin to get access to the reef, and like pulling all of this stuff together and then redoing the entire leveling band for the game so that the game could hand off to the Taken King at roughly in that 25 range when the coming war starts. We wanted to basically have that. If you haven't, like, the goal for all of this was, if you haven't played Destiny before and you were scared off by it for any number of totally reasonable and understandable reasons, Legendary Edition of the game is everything restitched together, and you can start at level 1, or if you want to skip all that, start at level 25. And we wanted to build a single system that would handle all of that, and it took a bunch of work. And that same philosophy though was something we did with the light transition, where we wanted to basically overhaul a bunch of the game to get it into one system that's going to work from level 1 to level cap, and so you can understand it the whole time, and it doesn't feel like at some point the rug gets pulled out from under you and you have to, like, the system changes. It's just one system the whole way.
Okay. This is the point where we have to have this conversation.
Sure.
Because I really do genuinely appreciate that you guys tried to do something new with an advancement system. Because, every game levels basically the exact same way, and I respect trying to go like, hey, how about we do this other thing that is interesting and engaging? Totally respect that. How did you not know, though?
Yeah.
Like, how? Because if it had been that from like level 1 all the way up, then that's something else entirely. But it's kind of that cliff. Like, you get to there and it's completely different. And how did that play out over at Bungie, where you were like, no, this is definitely cool. People will embrace it.
So mechanically, I think mechanically it was attempting to preserve the experience of the validation of number comparisons, both over the enemy's head and over the player's head. So it is technically like functionally the same as it is like if you're a 21 fighting a 22, it's like being an 18 to fighting a 19.
Right.
And part of the reason that the vanilla game initially went in this direction was because Bungie hasn't made a progression game before, and we were worried that in an action game, if you didn't have like hard cliffs, like hard breaks of like, oh my god, it's from 17 to 18, like this feels different, then the gear that you got wouldn't really matter. Like, and we were trying to make sure that you felt like we were trying to make your gear matter. And I think that we hit that make your gear matter problem with a sledgehammer instead of with a smaller hammer. I think there's like some like really good metaphor I could have used there, but I totally don't know it. But yeah,
dude, hammers of varying sizes is a very accessible metaphor for somebody who's sick. That's fine. That's totally effective.
But yeah, I mean, our goal was to make you feel like your gear mattered, and we over delivered in that way, I guess.
See, that's the thing. How do you? Because Susan and I were just talking about how the choice to go with an alternative to the typical sort of progression is very admirable. And I can see what you're saying. Like, it all makes sense. Like when you
does,
look at it
actually.
laid out,
Yeah.
it all makes sense. But it didn't feel quite right. And for a lot of players, it just didn't feel right. And I'm curious, like, for you guys internally and everybody you have testing and testing and testing and testing, how do you make sure that you're still sensitive to what might not feel right for somebody who hasn't played it for hours and hours and hours? Like, how do you make sure you're not missing the forest for the trees?
I think we have to just do in general a better job of that. Like, an example is there was a pretty small group of like the design team probably last summer who played and tested the game like really diligently and vigilantly at hours that, you know, would be described by many humans as long. You know, this year and we had a great time doing it, but it was grueling. An example of a way that we changed is, like, dude, in the last year we like built this. We have this like test realm now, and all of these things that I talk about, like quests or test realm, and I like talk about it, and I'm really excited about it. There's this like little part in the back of my brain that is also like, yeah, like this is not new. Like, I understand questing is not new, and I don't want to talk about it like we just invented a wheel, and I don't want to talk about a test client like that's new and we just invented a wheel. But for us at Bungie, it's new, and it represents a bunch of awesome steps forward. So this summer, now again, building back to the story, you know, we had this we've had test clients now since I think House of Wolves was where they started to roll out. So over the summer, like, we were able to go home, you know, leave the office and come home and play the game on our couches. And that is actually when you do the most, I think you do the most learning about the experiences that you're constructing. It's when you're no longer in the playtest lab in like an enclosed environment, right. You know, where once you're at home and you have, like, you know, I have like my golden retriever sitting on my feet and a delicious beverage for grown-ups in the drink holder, and I'm sitting on my couch playing and yelling.
So Maple, the dog, and beer, the beverage.
It's not Yoo-Hoo? Susan, you told me Yoo-Hoo was for grown-ups.
The way I make it is.
Yeah.
But
Yoo-Hoo's delicious. That'd be good. That feels like a good grocery trip for later, maybe. Got a long night of gaming ahead of me after this is over. I'm probably gonna go get lunch. I couldn't do video today because my building has the hot water off, and let's be honest, I didn't get up in time to hit the shower before they turn the water off. So it's kind of a bad scene here.
Luke, that is so literally 6 minutes before we were supposed to go live. I sat down, I did a preview of the stream, looked in the camera, and realized that I hadn't shaved in 36 hours, and I looked like a filthy Sasquatch. So you're in good company there as well.
And I just shaved last night, and I look like a weird, gross marshmallow. So that was another reason why I wasn't gonna do video. It's a bad day.
Okay. Given what is happening on the screen right now, I gotta give it up for the enemy design, because I just love how interesting looking they all are. It was one of the things I always loved about Destiny. Like, the shooting is butter, and the enemies are cool as hell.
Yeah, the artists. I think I don't know what you're fighting. I'm guessing I don't know what you're fighting, but I see the stream. This is gonna be weird for me to watch. But the art team just does an awesome job. I mean, we have such a talented group of artists and art directors, and the 3D team, and the Taken, the Taken and their special effects. Like, it's been awesome to see that stuff come together. The team really did a great job.
Luke, let me ask you something, man. There is, and I'm sure that you guys see this, even like on Bungie's forums. You probably see it on like your guys' social media accounts. I know we see it on our site, and on all the places where our readers talk. There is this contingent of folk who are like, oh, Destiny sucks, and Destiny's a failure, and which is baffling to me. Like, the perspective, like, oh, Destiny's a failure, when clearly it has found its audience, and that loves it and cares about it. Why do you think that happens? Like, why are there people that latch onto something and decide, well, I'm going to make this my enemy for some reason?
Well, I mean, I think on one hand, there's that a group of those folks are frustrated by the fact that we in the game meet their expectations, and I think that's like a way of that totally is a way of working out some of that animosity, and I think that is completely reasonable. Like we have to keep improving Destiny. Like it's not perfect. We're not done, and it's not meeting everyone's expectations. I'm super proud of the team and their work for the Taken King, but I still want it to get better. I mean, I'm not happy. I'm not happy that I want it to be better still. We're not done, and so the other thing is like it's just like the Penny Arcade guys, internet fuckwad theory. Like
right.
It's like that's just part of it. Like that's okay too. Like it's like it's easy to be demotivated or have your feelings hurt by like random folks on the internet. I think we've probably all gone through stuff similar to that. I mean, you guys have extremely public roles, and it's easy to get beat up by that stuff. But you just have to kind of push on and keep trying to make something that you're excited about and that you believe in. And I think that's basically that type of like gumption is what we've really been developing more of probably in the last year at Bungie, because we did have such a polarizing launch for Destiny.
Well, is there a difference for you in sort of building up your armor against those kind of reactions, against the internet fuckwad theory? Then you came from a critical background.
People have hated me for years. Like
that's true. Actually,
like back at 1UP, man, people would just make fun of my voice and stuff all the time. Like that was, if I let that stuff get to me, like I would never talk, or I would like, try to sound like David Hayter or something all the time. And, like, I invented myself.
Okay, not that I ever want you to not be true to yourself.
Right, but yeah,
I kind of work for you.
You do a good hater. Say at the end of a sentence. Like, I think it'll work for you, man.
Otacon. Metal Gear. Can't be. No, so I think there's just like a thick skin that you've got to have, and that you also have to just be aware that the other hard part is that I think in so much of the frustration there's just like this amazing amount of truth. And you have to sort of find the truth in the criticisms that people have, and so like that is its own difficult thing, because you're basically asking yourself and the people that you work with to like stand in the white heat of criticism and then like draw out the important nuggets, the nuggets of truth that can help you understand and make better decisions going forward.
Is this the part where we start talking about Dinklage?
Sure. What I mean, do you guys have me for a whole hour? Like, that's amazing. Wow. How did you get an hour?
Hour?
I'm in my pajamas still.
I just asked for it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, what do you guys want to talk about with Dinklage? What do y'all want to talk about?
Tell me about the Dinklage arc, man. Like how was there at any point before the launch where you guys were like, maybe this doesn't sound great? Or was there always conviction that, yeah, this sounds awesome, we want it to sound like this, he did exactly what we wanted him to?
We felt like there was definitely opportunity for improvement with the Ghost and the treatment of the Ghost as a character. I think that the Ghost is a really great metaphor for Destiny, and I'm going to get to this too, in this way where, I don't totally know that we as Bungie understood the type of game as a unit, as a company, that Destiny could be. In the same way, I feel like a bunch of the early writing for the Ghost, in vanilla, we didn't understand what the character of the Ghost could be, and because we didn't understand that character so well, we the words don't always ring super well, and the performance didn't have the writing that it needed either. And I think when I look at the Taken King and our new writers and the story team, really really committed, time, effort to understanding more of what the Ghost's personality was going to be and what the personality of the characters in the world was going to be, and that, that the Vanguard is basically watching through your Ghost was something they created for DLC 2, but that simple hook lets like Eris and Cade and Zavala and the Ghost all talk, and let them all talk. It's in the background of what you're doing, and that's like that discovery of the characters in the universe and the how they interact with each other. And I think we had to it's like totally an unacceptable thing that I'm about to say, but like we had to make a bunch of mistakes to learn how we wanted to do it better.
So I think that's exactly.
I don't think that's unacceptable. I think that's a refreshingly honest response to, hey, we had never tried to do this before, so we got some of it wrong.
Yeah.
And we learned from that, and we fixed it.
And
that's what I would like a game developer to say.
Yeah, I want.
Oh no, it was totally. We meant that. You
got to George Lucas it. This was always the plan.
Yeah, exactly.
It was always going to be like this. But you also are in the position where you're actually making a game where those kind of changes can be made. I mean, that's another thing. Bungie, yes, there have been the multiplayer modes in Halo, which have been bolstered by, rebalancing and downloadable content for over a decade now. Like Halo 2 had DLC, and that was 11 years ago. But, this is Bungie's first sort of living game. And, I can imagine that there are a lot of stumbling blocks and really hard lessons that you need to learn when you're like, this is something that is going to continue, it's going to persist, and it's something that we can change dramatically over that lifespan. There's a freedom to make mistakes like that you don't have with something that's just going to be done and finished, and then you work on a sequel. At the exact same time, though, I wonder if, have there ever been times where you started working on something in Destiny and said, oh, well, if it's not perfect now, we'll just fix it later. Maybe we don't need to make sure that it's just right now. Just okay is something we can test.
I think we have definitely made trade-offs like that. It's better for us to learn. It's better for us to learn something than ship and learn something, then sit on something and try to polish it till it's perfect when it might never get to be perfect.
Yeah.
There's a gambler's sort of mentality to that I really like. It's like a gunslinger mentality, but it also can totally bite you, just bite you in the ass if you make bad bets. There are definitely ways that you can make a bad bet and it's gonna come back and haunt you.
What to you is a good bet? What to you is a thing that you're like this is a risk I'm willing to take, something in the Taken King that is. It's funny. I guess since I'm at my house in my pajamas and no one's here with me, I guess I can say whatever I want.
It's okay. You know what? No, nobody's watching.
Nobody's watching.
Yeah,
So the entirety of the Taken King endgame is that risk. Basically everything that happens in the second act, the Taken War and all of the endgame was a risk. And I remember championing the importance of taking that risk to the leadership team on the project. And I think that it was a big risk I think it's paying off. I think that when I'm seeing comments on the internet about people's excitement over, oh my gosh, there's so much to do and I feel overwhelmed by the freedom that I have, and oh my gosh, I'm getting legendaries from quests, wow. All of those things happened because we were able to basically just take a big whack at a pretty risky endeavor, and the people who worked on it, we took that group and we isolated them in an area of the studio, and I think that team just really, it was this team in this room we call Cabal, and that team just did an awesome job. Like I'm so happy for them, and I'm so happy for the players having, you know, a bunch of new content to experience, you know, after the level cap, and it's like new monsters to run around and fight. And if you're a player who doesn't like to group, you know, is like averse to other players, you now have a bunch of like difficult single player activities that you can go do to get legendary marks and to get, you know, legendary weapons and armor, and there's cool story and stuff there. And so, you know, we like basically constructed in an extremely short time window, kind of a second game. Mm-hmm. And that was a giant risk, and it was awesome to see the team really rally behind that. And like the audio guys, for instance, you know, it was like acceptable to me. Here's an example. Like, it was totally acceptable to me if the missions that take place in the second act of the game only had like a line of dialogue for landing and a line of dialogue at the end of the mission. And I was like, that will be fine. I think that'll totally be good enough. And the audio guys and the story guys were like, this is completely like, they're like, no. And so those guys, like, you know, like, they started looking at me like, you know, like, that's great. Thank you for that constraint. And then like they went away and they basically wrote complete missions and scored it, and there's awesome music and there's great dialogue and the missions are characterful, and you know, it's like those guys just took the ball and ran. And I think that for a bunch of elements of the Taken King project, the elements that worked best were, you know, teams taking the ball and running, and that really is just a testament to the super talented group of developers we have at Bungie.
Dude, I'm not complaining. I love the man. But does Nathan Fillion just like show up at the Bungie offices?
he's just like stalking you at all times.
He's always there, being like, "What are you guys doing?"
Just like driving by, like real slow.
he's so busy. Like he like, no joke. He's so busy. We like really had to hustle to get him scheduled for the game. Like, because he's just been so busy. And you know, we like at one of the recording sessions, CJ Cowan, who is the story lead on the project, was like texting us from LA where they were doing the final session with Fillion, and the power went out.
Oh no.
And it's just like you're like, oh my god, like, and everything's coming in so hot because of the aforementioned giant risk endgame experiment. And we're like, oh no. Like, what if we don't? Like, what if this doesn't work? What if we run out of time? Like, there's this. I mean, it was, yeah. There's probably a good series of stories about the development of the Taken King someday that'll slip out one at a time. Fillion is awesome. He and Morla's the woman who plays Eris. Like, I really have enjoyed experiencing the world through their voices in the Taken King, and those two have just done an awesome job. Like, and the writing team has really done a great job too.
My God, Susan, are you going to start playing again? Is Luke selling you on getting back in there?
He sold me as soon as he had the, if you want to solo it, you can. We just give you harder stuff to do. I'm happy. Great. As long as I don't have to make play dates in order to get my legendaries, I'm totally happy. I loved Destiny. I loved playing Destiny. I thought it was awesome. But it was just, you know, you had to do the raids and you had to team up with people, and that just doesn't fit with my personal lifestyle and schedule. It's a perfectly sound game design decision. It just doesn't fit for me.
Let me tell you about soloing right now, Susan. I don't know if you've been watching, but this wizard's been handing me my own ass for about 40 minutes.
That's because you're not very good.
I'm real good. I'm great.
Not.
The screen said I'm supercharged right now. I'm like a bottle of Gatorade. This is going to go really well right now. Luke, that is like really interesting to me to hear, like, you have the opinion, like, we want dialogue at the beginning of the mission and we want dialogue at the end of the mission, and be very spare, and that's great. And then, you know, story and audio guys say, absolutely not, we can't do that.
Well, yeah, and it's really about the, like, you know, to me, it was about the prioritization of work. Like, the trade-off and the economy of trade-off would be, you know, I would not have wanted us to short shrift that campaign experience, that like meaty, you know, like that meaty return to Destiny, hopefully for a lot of folks. And I wouldn't want us to short shrift that in favor of like buffing out the end game or the orbit phase of the game, but So it was. I was just trying to set priorities that they said like there is no priorities. Like it's all number one, and then they just nailed it. Like those guys did a fantastic job.
Is there, what is the process for you guys at the studio when there is disagreement about the way that, story, about character progression? When there are disagreements, how do you guys, what is your work process at Bungie? How do you guys reach consensus about what the game should be? It's always interesting to hear how, a team sort of finds their chemistry, and it's always different.
I don't think we always do find consensus. It's not always consensual decision making. I would say there are some times where we're gonna go in a direction that not everyone is in favor of, or sometimes we're gonna go in a direction that everyone's excited about. And I think that we at Bungie are getting better at that, but as we've grown so much, we I've been there for 8.5 years now, and we have grown in the 8.5 years so much. And I think as we're growing, we're gaining so many new folks, and we're continuing to learn how best to work with each other and how to arrange the company and structure the studio in a way that has people feel empowered and excited about what they're working on, but also has everyone sort of marching to the steady beat of the Destiny drum. And we're not always doing that in the best way. I'm not gonna sit here and say that we are. We have a lot of as much growth potential as we have in Destiny the game. We have that kind of growth potential, and continuing to get Bungie functioning better and running like the company that we wanted to, of a company that's poised for, I think, the world domination thing that we're still chasing.
The real answer to the question is arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling.
Oh boy,
yeah. Arm wrestling and belly flop competitions.
It most certainly is not. I would never win anything if it was arm wrestling.
It's that rock climbing wall.
I'd have to play less Destiny and play more Gym, whatever that like that.
No, don't do that. Destiny's way more fun than Gym. Totally way more fun.
Destiny more fun than Gym.
More fun than Gym. Not even the Gym.
We did it, guys! We did it!
More fun than Jim, the sitcom starring Jim Belushi. That actually will be our back of the box quote.
Yeah.
Is more fun than Jim Belushi's blues band. The world domination thing, Luke. There was once upon a time the leaked, sort of 10-year game plan of Bungie's for Destiny with Activision, but this was years and years and years ago. And I know that you can't talk about all the details of that and blah 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 blah.
Sure, you can. Nobody's watching.
Nobody's watching. But
I know.
What I'm curious about is how similar the plans for world domination look now compared to the past. Because in the past, the plan for world domination was there's going to be Destiny, and then in year 2 there's going to be a big expansion, similar to in description back then to something like the Taken King. And then in year 3 there was going to be a Destiny 2, and then continue moving in that sort of direction. Is that still sort of the world domination vision? Is there going to be a Destiny 2, or is there just Destiny?
I think that's a great question that I'm certainly not going to talk about any answers to today to the legions of people watching. I think that one thing I will say is that the interpretation of a slide that was in some weird presentation as law and doctrine, things change, things are going to continue to change. The deal is going to continue to evolve as we look to figure out how best we can serve the fans and the community and the IP. So I think that we're just going to continue to think about ways that we can make Destiny the IP better, and if that's probably going to be our focus as Bungie going forward.
Do you think sequels in that sort of sense are relevant in a way that they used to be? Part of me feels if there was a World of Warcraft 2 that came out in 2008, that would have been a big deal. But I don't think that something like that would play anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually don't really know. Like I don't really know because the landscape for gaming is changing so much right now. Like even look at Call of Duty, right? Like they sometimes put a number on something and sometimes they don't. Like I'm not gonna pretend to understand the rhyme or the reason as to how that works. Or Assassin's Creed's another example. Like sometimes it has a number, sometimes it doesn't. I don't really understand the rules for that as a gamer and as a developer. And so when I try to think about Destiny, I mean the lens through which I think about things, like honestly, and this is going to sound canned probably, other than the totally unpolished delivery, is just like what are the experiences that I'm excited to help people create for Destiny players. Like what are the experiences that get me as a player excited, that I'm excited to like help the Bungie team create. And so like that, like I don't really think about, personally, I don't really think about like a number on a box. Like that's sort of outside of my scope of giving a shit. The thing that I'm excited about is what is the future of raiding look like? What's the future of the Destiny endgame look like? What's the future of how can the sandbox or the classes grow? Because I think those things, and I'm not leaving anything out deliberately, but those are examples of things that people want answers to, and they want to understand where things are going to go and these things that they care about. And Destiny, for all of its online fervor and the frustration that gets espoused by our lively community, like you can only be frustrated by or with something you care about. And so like that, thinking about those things is probably more of where I get lost in thought, rather than like should the 2.0 version of the game have had a 2 in it or something. Like I don't know, I don't worry about that.
Do you miss being a part of the development of something that's just like a contained, we're gonna make the game, we're gonna finish the game, and that's gonna be the end of it? Like you fell in love with Bungie's work with Halo 2,
yep.
And these games were yes, the multiplayer was obviously this thing that persisted and lended itself to playing over and over and over again, but you love those campaigns, and there are things that you can finish in 6, 7, 8 hours. Do you miss making that kind of game? Do you feel like you are?
So when I joined Bungie, we were in the end of Halo 3, and then there was ODST and Reach. But by then, but when I joined Bungie in 2007, I had already played 2.5 years of Warcraft, and World of Warcraft really was a game that changed the way that I thought about almost everything in software development. And so for me, even as far back as like the tail end of our time with Halo, like I was pretty excited to not work on anything like that. And I really only wanted to, I mean, I personally, and this is not I Luke Smith at Bungie, just I Luke Smith, someone who plays games and is like sitting in his apartment looking at his like wall of Blizzard collector's editions. Like I wanted to make worlds. I wanted to be involved with the creation of a world that players could be in. And I remember the first time Jason Jones, who's the founder and chief creative officer at the company, got up in front of the studio and explained that he wanted our next game to be a hobby. And this was while a bunch of us were all still working on Halo. Destiny was a super, super, super small team back in those days. And like make a hobby in a world that you wanted to be in. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I totally came to the right place. And so that was, for me, and I'm only speaking as me, the individual. That was a moment that I was pretty sold on what we were going to try to do.
Luke, I'm going to ask you a thorny question.
Go for it, man.
I don't.
How to kill this guy?
Yeah, how do I not suck, man? Like, how do I get past
you
the
and I'm
sucking?
Like, bro.
Come on,
Bro.
Susan. Oh, Susan. There's no swoop button in this. I can't swoop.
That's true. You can't swoop. You can't cheese your way through this. You just actually have to get good.
Just have to be good. It's really hard.
Well, so here's the thing. You're actually the reason why this is a little hard for you is because you're 3 levels underneath. He's a level 7 and you're a level 4.
That's true.
Yeah, I know.
And so you definitely at your thumb skill level, which as I'm watching now is interesting. It may be a wow, this is like distracting. No wonder I haven't been watching this the whole time. It may be better for you to sort of do something that I like to call go level.
Freaking like tell you to go level. Damn it.
Yeah, because you are definitely getting hurt a little bit by the.
Give this guy
you're chipping away at this thing.
This is like the 90th time I'm chipping away at this.
And it is, by the way, it is really hard to play and talk at the same time. So I totally respect and admire your
my fortitude.
Yeah, I was gonna say your fortitude here, because it is like you're showing some true grit.
Well, let's just say maybe I'm trolling. Maybe I just want to piss off everybody watching on Twitch and be like, I turned in for a Destiny chat, and this guy's terrible.
What? Hi,
Susan, let me have this.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'd like to buzz in. What are things bad players say, Alex?
Oh shit! Oh yeah, I had that one coming. Wow, this guy.
That wasn't very thorny. I mean, you could have gone many places with that, but.
Oh man,
like the thorn.
God, I almost had him. I really almost had him that time. That was almost
chipping away.
Yeah, you're gonna see it. I beef it pretty hard, really, right there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Tape delay. I have it muted so I don't hear myself echoing in my own head, because that's like just a nightmare. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I was real close.
2 minutes ago, something really bad happened. Everyone.
It sucked. It sucked really bad. This is like I'd like to think that I'm role playing my guardian, and it's just like her boyfriend died here. And
I'm worried that at some point your ghost might elect to not res you. Like you might just be like,
right?
Like the ghost might be like, fuck it, I'm finding someone else. I'm going back to Cosmos Realm. I'm out of here.
Oh man,
like, seriously, like, bro, I'm just gonna go.
Like, he just ghost rolls back to the speaker. So, I was thinking that last one didn't really work out. I know I sort of hyped him up in front of you, but I was just doing that for show. What if, and hear me out, I could go back to the Cosmos Realm and keep looking. I heard there were new people buying the game.
Because this one is just throwing themselves at a wall.
Is that cool with everyone? If we just I'm gonna go. Is Mr. Speaker? Is that cool? Is that cool, Cora? I'm gonna go find another one.
Mr. Speaker, I know pickings were slim there for a while. I get that, and we were making the best of it. But breaking records for downloads on PSN. So how about?
Damn it!
We just give it another shot with maybe a different guardian.
See, that means I'm the Rudy of Destiny, Susan.
You're the kids would say you're the swipe left of Destiny right now.
Oh no! Oh damn it!
I'm old, but I'm still hip, kids.
Son of a bitch!
I know this is.
That was a Friendster. That was a Friendster reference, right? That was a.
Oh wow!
That's how they use the MySpace. Damn it!
There you go.
I don't know what man. I'm gonna do it though. This guy thinks he's real tough. I'm committed to the cause, Luke. I'm gonna make
eventually,
this happen.
if you hit level 5, it'll just get a little bit easier for you. You just
It'll
have
just be slightly easier.
You just this little sliver of a green bar being done.
I'm so close. I'm gonna get.
You have people watching the chat. I mean, the ones that haven't tuned out because you're not very good. Why don't you ask one of them for help? I'm just kidding.
At this point, I feel like I need to call the office and be like, could somebody please get on the stream with Anthony?
No.
Just join.
No, I don't need any help. Charles S. Dutton's been training me to play Destiny. I don't know why I'm committed to the Rudy thing.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think I've just been thinking about Charles S. Dutton today. And
oh, okay. I thought it was maybe the Sean Astin thing.
Well, I do love Sean Astin.
Well, who doesn't?
I do have that Goonies poster above my bed.
True. That's true. You would assume the wizard would just give up at this point.
He'd be like, look, I have an appointment. I gotta go to the dentist.
He just sighs as you walk in the room like, oh, God.
You again.
It's this guy.
Fine, you can have the ghost. Just have it.
Just have it.
Go scan it. It's yours.
All right. This wizard has half its health down, and it's throwing those balls at me, and I don't care about its balls. I'm just gonna keep doing it. I got my ammo. I got all the things. This is gonna be fine.
Okay, my stream must be way behind because this guy's health is nowhere even close. Okay, there we go. You just hit a. Okay.
I'm giving him a what for?
You are giving him a what? At least 2.5.
Oh man, I'm really hurting now though. I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna go call my parents. I'm gonna go make a collect call home.
Wizard's like, dude, I ain't missing lunch for this.
Do you want me to go over to my place? Does remote play work yet? You want me to plug in from?
Damn it, dude!
Like, I just hop on stream, just throw this thing in the dumpster for you, and call it a day.
This is a serious question, man. How do you design around people like me? Like, how do you make sure that somebody's not going to sit there and continue doing this?
Well, yeah, like true story. Like I make jokes about watching you this, but the jokes are only because I'm like feeling actual physical pain. Because like, no, but because
he's
it's
fucking
like
dead. He is dead. Yeah, I am a man now.
But the pain is because like you're not unique. Like there are so many people that have struggled through this exact thing that you're going through and have put the game down as a result of it. And this type of challenge to a new player, you know, this is probably pretty excessive for someone to be fighting this early. Now, like at level 5, you know, or 6, like this would have been way easier for you because of the way the mechanics scale and work. But like that type of like grinding your way through it and earning it at level 4 or whatever you are, like that is like not.
Yeah, it's dumb.
That is actually like not how we want the game to work. Like that, you know, like this like raises the cockles on my neck. Like when I talked, you know, 25 minutes ago about like, yeah, I'm still not happy. And Destiny has a bunch of places to improve. Like this was a great example of watching the game push back at you with way too much resistance, especially as a level nothing, you know. So that definitely created some anxiety. I'll probably send an email about it.
Look, this is not the game's fault. Can we just be
clear? This is not the game's fault.
This is not.
Like there's this problem though, right? Which is like shooter players have such a diverse range of skill. Sometimes you're getting like some of our testers who are just like otherworldly good, and then sometimes you have, you know, someone like Anthony who's like, you know, pretty far on the other end of that spectrum. But the game still needs to like rise up and be fun and empowering for all those players. And so, you know, how do we do that? And then doing that in an action game and doing that in an action loot game is like a whole nother layer of difficulty and challenge on top of it. Like we've often at Bungie talked about how making Destiny and the decisions that we've made making Destiny is a lot like making video games on hard mode. And you know, like a loot-based game with a huge skill huge skill deltas, like that is definitely adding more complexity into the hard mode. You know.
But nobody feels as awesome about hitting level 5 as I do right now.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
that's true.
I feeling real good about myself.
Feeling real something about it, I guess.
Feeling real something. Everybody, we have just a couple of minutes left. Luke, thank you so much, man. I know you're not feeling well, and to come on and jaw with us for an hour is no small feat. I really, really appreciate it, man.
Oh, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. And just to clarify, I'm not sick. I just sound sick.
You just sound sick.
Yeah, I'm just off. I'm
just
relaxing.
Exhausted because you know they launched a game.
Maybe I actually meant that you're sick, like Wicked, bro. Like you've got boss skills.
Just you need to control this situation here.
Those are still relevant terms, right? Susan?
I don't know.
Damn it.
Welcome to my world, Luke. This is what I deal with every day.
No.
Well, there are far worse things you could be dealing with.
That's true. Everybody watching, this is what you get to deal with every single day. If you follow us here on this lovely Twitch channel, click the heart at the bottom of the screen. It's no different than passing a note to us in gym class, being like, I really like you, let's go see Congo together in the theater. That's a relevant thing. please follow us. We air 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. We have all kinds of fun shows. We got 2 talk shows. We got a show that is specifically about playing weird garbage. That's on Wednesdays, and we'll always play something new and super relevant. I'm not lying. On Mondays, with our show Caught Up. Next week, we've got some really fun stuff coming. Next Thursday, we're not going to have a developer on. We're going to do something a little special. We're going to have a How It's Done special roundtable with the entire staff of Games Radar on, breaking down all the spoilers of Metal Gear Solid 5 and sort of doing our own personal critical postmortem on that game. So tune in for that. That will be 4:30 p.m. Eastern next Thursday. And I'm going to put up our schedule on the screen right now. There's a bunch of good stuff on the site as well. And yeah, go play Destiny, because even if you're an idiot who decides to fight a boss that's way above your level for half an hour straight, it's really fun. I'm definitely going to start playing again. Luke, is there anything that you want to tell people about your game before you go?
Just that, we really appreciate all the feedback that we get. I want to encourage people to keep sharing either on the BungieNet forums or their chosen forum on the internet. Like we want to continue to hear ways that we can make the game better, and we're gonna keep trying.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thank you again for being here, Luke. That was awesome. Everybody, follow us. We'll be back next week. Oh, wait a second, Yodel. I had to step out. Did I miss a Tim Curry impersonation? Push me, please. Harder, please. It is the lost city of Zinj. That's the best Tim Curry impression of all time. And before anybody can contradict me, we're off the air.